After 4 months, the Mariners are back in business. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly episode of the Seattle Baseline Podcast. My name is Julian Smith, and I'm with Alex Hong. Alex, as a person that's in Pennsylvania right now, I checked the news and I saw that in U District they have a new Raising Canes. I am not able to go there right now, but I know you go to UW. How is it?
Well, I haven't been to that specific store. Like, I've gone to Raising Cane's before, but the reason why I haven't gone to the store, that restaurant, is because on opening day, the lines were going around the block, around several blocks. Like, there's no way I'm gonna wait that long. And that went on for several days. And then, I don't know, the lines are usually okay right now. So maybe I'll go sometime soon. But I don't know. In my opinion, their chicken isn't even that good. Like their sauce is pretty good, but their chicken's like okay. I don't know. It's not something I'll wait in line that long for. But it is open really late. Like I think they close at like 2 or 3 a.m. So I mean, it might be good in that regard. But yeah. Is it worth the hype? I can't really tell you. But if you never had it before, it might be worth trying. But it's not like anything that special. It is just like fast food chicken.
I've I've seen the line for Raising Canes even on like so in State College, the Raising Canes has been open for a while now. And even after that, I still see the line like crazy long. And I assume the hype in U District right now is a lot more than the Raising Canes over here. But it reminds me of Chick-fil-A, how like I remember in Bellevue they had the Chick-fil-A that was the line was so far that the cars couldn't get into the area, like the Chick-fil-A area. They couldn't
Yeah.
actually turn into the parking lot. I remember that, and it's like, man, it's people and chicken, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
if In-N-Out were to open in like this part of Washington, oh my God, don't go to Seattle. The line would be crazy long. So I don't know. It's
Especially if
literally just
Sam,
fast food.
yeah, especially if Sam Darnold's in the Raising Canes, then that's when it starts like the line gets crazy, right? I saw that one on Instagram where Sam Darnold's sitting in the Raising Canes after the Super Bowl win in the U District. Must have been crazy. It's like the hype of the Raising Canes and then the hype of the Seahawks. People have money
Yeah,
to
it all
spend when
worked
that
out, I guess,
happens.
in that regard. I mean,
Yeah,
that event, there was a lot of people at that event. I didn't go because obviously lots of people. I don't have the time to be waiting around like that.
man. I wish we both did, but homework, right? Crazy.
Yeah,
College
definitely.
work, everything. But speaking of Seattle sports, Mariners are in Peoria, Arizona. They're warming up. I was about to say they're fighting, but they're not really fighting. They're all warming up. They're having a chill workout session with each other, with other teams, kind of.
Yeah.
So, Alex, how do you feel so far? I mean, it's 3 days in. Your players have not gotten more than 4 or 5 at bats tops at this point, but we've had 3 whole games.
Yeah, and it's important to not judge too much about what happens in spring training, and especially in this short of a sample size, right? Like these teams are trotting out basically anyone who's on their roster, right? It can go from like Cal Raleigh, who was runner-up in the MVP, to like a single A guy or high A guy you've never even heard of, right? Like it could be anything, and winning and losing these games obviously doesn't matter. It's like the NFL and like the NBA, they all have like a preseason type of like event. And really with baseball, it's like the most extreme out of them because you have starters playing, but then you also have guys who never should be on a major league roster, at least right now playing, right? So it's hard to judge these results. And it's more or less something to think about the process and how the player is going at things rather than looking at the sole result, right? I mean, especially with these pitchers, right? They're warming up. They're only throwing like some of them only throwing like 10 pitches, right? It's I can't really judge a player, especially if it's like a starter for pitching 1 inning, right? I can't like take too much out of it, but it's more like the process, right? And him ramping it up before the regular season starts. And as we get closer to a regular season, it's going to be a lot more important to see, okay, is this person ready to go? And usually by then, these players are ready to go. But especially at the beginning, you're going to see, like Andres Munoz not throwing very fast, and that's okay. He doesn't want to burn out his arm that quickly.
Yeah, and he did ramp it up after he gave up two doubles. I think he was a little bit mad there, but Andres Munoz was throwing 96, 97, and that's fine. That's great. I want him to preserve the arm. One I want to highlight one player uh that had a good at bat structurally. Not just one at bat, but had a good ability to kind of he wasn't doing much, but he's improving, and that's Cole Young. Cole Young went out there and he put up 8 pitch at bat, 9 pitch at bat, and walked. That was something I liked seeing. He had a little bit of a different stance than he did in 2025, and he came out and wasn't able to square it up, but fouls pitches off, takes his walk. It was really fascinating to see the change that Cole Young made. And I'm sure the contact, the good contact, the line drives and the home runs, they're going to come eventually. But to see him able to take the pitches that he did and foul off the pitches that were in the zone, I thought that was really good for what I want to see from Cole Young. That was the step in the right direction.
Yeah, and I mean Cole Young is probably one of the most important players to look out for in this spring training because he might be a crucial part of the Mariners' success if they have success this upcoming season, right? He's most likely, right, and he's not penciled in for anything, but he's most likely going to be the starting second baseman. And we got to see some good results out of that, right? Cole Emerson, I mean, he's not going to come up, at least not unless he blows it up in spring training to like like a very good amount like Julio did a few years ago. He's not going to come up for a while. So we're going to have Cole Young and maybe a few other guys in there. And if Cole Young can really prove that he can hit at the major league level, it's going to really, really increase the Mariners' chances, right? With the addition of Brendan Donovan, it relieves a little bit of stress out of that. But I mean, we still need him to play well, or else there's just a black hole in the lineup. And additionally, when Cole Emerson does come up, it takes a lot of pressure off of him if Cole Young is playing well, right? We don't need him to become like, the next like Robinson Cano or some like really good second baseman. We just need him to play at a level that we can start him because last year at the end of the year, there's a reason why you didn't see Cole Young in the playoffs. He was unplayable, right? So that's one of the major things I'm looking for. And to your point, right? Seeing those long at bats are really nice because one of the problems he had later in the year was that his at bats were just terrible, right? It's one thing to have like a 6 pitch strikeout, but it's another thing to have like a 1 pitch ground out. And that's a lot of the time what we're seeing weak contact, short at bats, which was really frustrating to see. So if he can get that back together and improve, right? And that's going to do him wonders.
Yeah, and I found it interesting that they changed his setup for the swing the way that they did. I thought Cole Young's setup was very like it was super flowy, and it was something that only Cole Young did where he was constantly moving his hands like every which way. And then now his setup looks a little bit more like what Julio Rodriguez's setup looks like right now, where he's bouncing between like the bats bouncing between here and here versus he used to go all the way to his back and then like twists around back to his back. It was a lot of movement that was going on before, and now I think he's going to be a little bit more consistent with the way that he is. And the the fact that he was fouling the pitches shows me that he's able to contact the ball, even if it's weak contact. And especially at the start of spring training, that's great because he's going to figure out the line drives and the home runs later. I just need him to have a good process and have good at bats. That's he's doing fantastic right now for what I want.
Yeah, and it's a good time. If anything, it's a good time now to be trying to like play with your swing a little bit, right? I mean, every player has a different swing for a different reason because like, it's not built for everyone, right? So if Cole Young had thought, oh, maybe my swing last year wasn't as good, I want to try this out and see how it goes. This is actually a really good time to do it because these games are meaningless, right? It doesn't matter who wins these games, but if he can find a groove and maybe find the stance that works well for him or works better for him at the major league level, because remember, the major leagues is a lot different than the minor leagues. And I know he's in spring training, so he's against a wide variety of competition, but it's still going to be helpful because it's not like I'm pitching to Cole Young. It's like actual baseball players pitching to Cole Young. So it's still going to be like beneficial to see his results against, actual MLB, like potential MLB caliber players.
Yeah, so you were mentioning earlier, and this is pivot off of Cole Young, the other guy, Cole Emerson. I want to talk about I want I want to hear what you think about him. Like, what does Cole Emerson need to do, especially like knowing that the prior precedent to what this is Julio Rodriguez, and obviously you've got Cole Young knocking on the door. What does Cole Emerson need to do to actually secure a spot? And is there a chance that maybe JP Crawford gets sent to the bench if that happens?
Yeah, so that's a lot to think about right there. First of all, we would need to see Cole Emerson on the major league roster. Now, Julio Rodriguez, he came out of an interesting time because the previous year was the 21 season, which was the season right after COVID. So it was like a lot of weird things happening in the minor leagues. And then Julio came into the next spring training and then lit it up so much that they just had to put him on the major league roster, right? Even with all the potential service time, things going on. They still had him starting on opening day, and he killed it from the beginning, right? But if you look at a prior example, which was Jared Kelenic, right? He came up and he was expected to be the savior, and it didn't work out, right? And Julio was kind of expected to be like that, but it did work out for him. So, I'm not saying like it's weird like one person coming in like if Julio wasn't good, the team was not going to be good in 22, right? Definitely not. So I mean, I think we build a good enough foundation to where Cole Emerson is not the savior. He does not need to come up and be like, "Oh my God, if this guy isn't good, then this team is not doing anything." Right? We're not in a situation like that. He's not going to be the best player on the team, right? Definitely not his rookie year. So it's a lot of pressure off of him, which I think is good. And also another thing to mention is Julio was like ranked a better prospect at the time. I believe Julio when he was coming up, he was like fourth or so, and then Emerson's still like top 10, but he's not like that level of Julio. I don't expect Emerson to be on the opening day roster, right? Unless I see something really crazy out of him. But I still think he has a lot of beneficial like triple A at bats to take, and then we can ramp him up, and then we can put him on the roster if necessary. But it all kind of depends on how Cole Young is doing, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt to have as many bats as possible, but if Cole Young's not doing good, it might pressure the Mariners to maybe bring up Emerson faster. But if not, we can let Emerson stay until he's truly, truly ready. And then the last point you mentioned with JP Crawford is very interesting to think about. If Crawford isn't playing well, right? And Cole Young is, and then Cole Emerson comes up, we might have a discussion on what to do with JP Crawford, right? He is the longest tenured Mariner, I believe, right now, but Crawford has up and down years. Last year wasn't bad, but some years are pretty bad. So we kind of have to see. And his defense isn't good. Like Crawford's defense is no good anymore. So lots of things to consider. I don't think Emerson would like fully take Crawford's position as a full-time starter because Crawford still has a lot of experience and you don't really want to put a rookie out there every single day if it's not necessary, right? So there are several things to consider, but maybe it could put a little bit of pressure on JP Crawford throughout the year saying, "Oh, shoot, if I'm not good, then, Cole Emerson might take my spot." So it could give some extra motivation that way.
Yeah, and with JP Crawford, it's definitely age because it's the fact that he's not really running as fast as he was. His arm is not as good as it was. JP Crawford 4 years ago was a much better defender than he is now. And Cole Emerson being the young guy, I want him to watch someone like JP Crawford, who was once a gold glover. This is a guy who was like, this is a good defender. I want Colt Emerson to in this spring training be able to get as much information from JP as he possibly can, and then hopefully in the future, whether that be half of a year or maybe it's the 2027 season, he comes up and he's a good defender. That's a given, and he's a good batter as well. And so that's what I hope for. I'm I'm not looking for Colt Emerson to be Ben Williamson. I'm looking for Colt Emerson to be Colt Emerson. And that's the huge difference. Ben Williamson, it was fine if he was a bad offensive player. With Colt Emerson, he can't be a bad offensive player, not with the prospect ability that he has right now. Same thing for Cole Young. These guys have to be good players, and they're the bounce back option for each other. They can't both be bad. That's where the Mariners are sitting right now, where they don't have the they're not able to get the super major leaguers like Bo Bichette. They need their prospects to pan out. Julio Rodriguez did, Cal Raleigh did, Brian Wu did, and all of those pitchers in our pitching staff did. However long it takes for Cole Emerson, don't rush it. Just get him to the level he needs to be.
Yeah, and it's hard for especially hitters to hit that well, or even any rookies to be that good right when they come up. I know Nick Kurtz last year is kind of he's a true anomaly. I've never seen anything like that in a long time where he's that dominant that immediately, right? Or a guy like Paul Skeens. That's a little different because he was such a good prospect, but seeing these players play like amazing, the best player in their position that quickly is not a realistic opportunity. We need to give these guys time, right? And that's what I think the big thing is putting too much pressure on a guy saying, "Oh, he's not good." It's like it's over, it's over. It's like guys, he's like a lot of these like Cole Emerson, especially, he's 20 years old. Cole Young is 22 years old. These guys Colt Emerson is actually the same age as me. So,
Me
like, I
too.
mean, like, yeah. So this is just not something I should expect of, oh, he's gonna be dominant, hitting like crazy. It's just not realistic. So we got to be patient with these guys. And I think the minor league development is definitely a time to be patient to where, you know, we could just see how his progression is going. But eventually, he's got to be on the major league roster, and we're gonna have to see how he actually does in the major league. And we got to give him some time. That's why having multiple players who can play, right? Okay, we could play Cole Emerson this day, and then the next day we could play like a guy who we trust more, and then we can. We take our time with it rather than just have him play every day and have him suck every day and then demote him. The last thing you want is to have to demote like like one of your top prospects because he's not playing well. Okay, maybe and sometimes it's because he's just not a good player, but a lot of times it's because he just wasn't ready, or it's not working out in the major leagues because he has to play too much, or there's a lot of issues right like that.
Yeah. And that's what makes me excited about Brendan Donovan. And I've said this many times in many of our episodes. Him being here in 2027 is so crucial because of Cole Emerson. And so I'm excited to see this roster. Luke Raley seems to be batting well. It's only 2 games, but still, it's something. Emerson Hancock, great first inning, bad second inning, and Logan Gilbert's going to pitch tomorrow, and then Kirby's going to pitch the day after. So it seems like the Mariners are going to start putting in the rotation arms one by one, and I'm excited to see how they do.
Yeah, and hopefully they stay healthy throughout so we don't have another incident like last year where we have some injuries to start and then the rotation's kind of messed up at the beginning. So, don't want to overwork these guys. I'm not too worried, especially about what these guys do at the beginning, like their very first, start in spring training. I mean, it's also like one inning, right? So, yeah, and then you mentioned Hancock. He's also another big one. He might have a somewhat. We'll see how the Mariners want to approach Hancock, right? Because last year he was like basically just a reliever, and we didn't even use him that much in the postseason, right? And then if there are like injuries, especially in the pitching staff, Hancock might have to be the one who goes, right? He might have to be the one. No, I'm not exactly sure how the Mariners are going to approach this. It might be dependent on how well he does in the spring training as well. But Hancock's another one to look for to see how he's progressing, right? Because, I think the dreams of him being an ace starter is kind of gone at this point, right? But there are is still hope for him to be either in the a good bullpen guy or even maybe a decent starter, right? So, and every team needs no team is gonna have five aces on their like pitching staff. It's just not like realistically feasible. So, a guy like Hancock still could be very beneficial to the Mariners.
Yeah, and if Hancock can play at a 4 ERA and he's your six, then that's great. I I have no issues with that, especially with the pitching staff that we have.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm looking forward to see what comes up next in spring training, right? Obviously, it's been a few days, but as the weeks go on, we can have more to talk about and see how the team is looking. But yeah, I guess um we got some baseball to watch, right? I mean, I don't think most people are actually watching these full games unless you're at the spring training, right? But you always see the highlights on like Instagram or something. Oh, Mastrobuoni hit a grand slam or something I always see those things happening. So it's cool to see baseball's starting to be back again.
Yeah, and let us know what you think the Mariners should look for. I like Cole Young. I'm sure you guys have your opinions as well, and let us know on the in the comments. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our beautiful faces on YouTube. Check out our Instagram, and as always, go Mariners.
Go Mariners.